Good morning, all of you. We are discussing regarding the mechanism of antibody production, and we studied that there are two pathways, endocytic pathway and cytosolic pathway, which are related with the antigen processing and presentation. So we know that whenever there is a contact of antigen, immediately there is no production of antibody. It is a multi-step process. So presentation and processing of antigen towards the antigen presenting cell or antigen processing cell is a prior and important for the antibody production. So actually there are two pathways which are explained to describe the major process or the actual mechanism of antibody production. The pathways are endocytic and cytosolic pathway. Firstly, we will discuss endocytic pathway and later on cytosolic pathway. Endocytic pathway, this pathway is related mainly to exogenous antigen. Exogenous antigen means those antigens which are coming from outside and taken by the phagocytic cells. These are called as exogenous antigens. Depending upon the type of antigen, depending upon the type of the antigen, the pathways are occurring in the cell. If the antigen is exogenous, then endocytic pathways will be followed. So endocytic pathway is mainly related with the exogenous antigen, that is the antigens coming from outside and these are taken up by the phagocytic cells. So these antigens are presented along with the MHC class 2 molecules. MHC class 1 and class 2, these are major histocompatible antigens or complex molecules, and the role is important in processing and presentation of the antigen. So here, whenever exogenous antigens comes in contact with the vertebrate body, these antigens are presented along with the MHC class 2 molecules. Antigen presenting cells and dendritic cells take up the antigen and form phagolysosome. What is phagolysosome? The antigen when enters in the body, vertebrate body, this antigen is captured by dendritic cells and antigen presenting cells, and then these antigens are taken up to the phagolysosome. Antigen is fused with the lysosome. Phagolysosome means what? The antigen is fused with the lysosome to form phagolysosome. Phagolysosome is the body. When these bodies form, whenever there is a fusion of antigen with the lysosome. And here the digestive enzyme from lysosome is secreted, and this enzyme cut the antigen into smaller peptides. So when the antigen is entered, exogenous antigen, that antigen is carried by dendritic cells, then the antigen is fused with the lysosome to form phagolysosome, where the digestive enzyme are secreted from lysosome and they cut the antigen into smaller peptides. Later on, the vesicle containing smaller peptides, smaller antigenic peptides are then fused with the vesicle containing MHC class 2 molecule. Firstly, antigen enters, then antigens are converted into phagolysosome, where there is a fusion of antigen with the lysosome. Lysosome secrete enzymes. The enzyme will cut the antigen into fragments or peptides. Later on, what happens? The vesicle containing smaller antigenic peptides or fragments are then fused with the vesicle containing MHC class 2 molecules, major histocompatible antigen class 2 molecule. Then the antigenic peptides are loaded on MHC2 molecule. Means what? Whatever antigenic fragments are there which are produced after action of enzyme. These fragments are fused with the MHC class II molecules. Then the vesicle containing MHC class II molecule loaded with the peptides is then fused with the cell membrane, and complex of antigen and MHC2 presented on antigen presenting cell. What happens later on? MHC class II molecules fused with the peptides and whole complex then get fused with the cell membrane, and complex of antigen and MHC2 presented on the cell surface. Which cell? Antigen presenting cell. Again I will repeat. Antigen comes in contact with the cell. The antigen is captured by the antigen presenting cell. Then it is fused with lysosome. Lysosome secrete enzyme which cut the antigens into fragments or peptides. The vesicle containing these peptides fused with the another vesicle containing MHC class II molecule. So there is a formation of complex of antigenic peptides and MHC class II molecule. Okay. Now this complex get deposited or presented on the surface of antigen presenting cell. Then there is a triggering of B cell and TH cell. Triggering of B cell and TH or TL prime B cell. Once the antigen is processed, next one is the cytosolic pathway. Endocytic pathway just we discussed. Now the next pathway is the cytosolic pathway. This pathway is mainly related with the intracellular parasite and the viruses. So these are related with the endogenous antigen. The previous pathway related with the exogenous antigen, that is the endocytic pathway. Cytosolic pathway related with the endogenous antigen. Endogenous antigens means what? Those antigens which are intracellular or they may be viral antigens. So whenever viruses or other intracellular parasite infect the cell, they grow within the cell and generate endogenous antigen. So whenever there is infection by the virus, whenever there is infection by the intracellular parasite, they generate the antigen inside the cell, and these are called as endogenous antigen. So to process these antigen, cytosolic pathway will be operated there. So here the endogenous antigens are processed by cytosolic pathway and they are presented along with MHC class I molecule. In previous pathway what we discussed? In endocytic pathway, MHC class II molecule was important. Here, these endogenous antigens are processed along with the MHC class I molecule. Okay. In virus infected cell, the generated viral antigens are cut into smaller peptides by proteasome. In previous pathway also we discussed lysosome enzyme are there and they are cutting the antigens into peptide. Similarly, here also those cells which are virally infected, they generate viral antigens and are cut into peptides by the proteasome. This is the first step, means both the steps are similar. Okay, conversion of antigens into peptides. Only here the difference is these are viral antigens. These smaller peptides are then transported or carried to endoplasmic reticulum where it is loaded with the MHC class I molecule. In previous pathway, MHC class II molecule was important. Here, MHC class I molecule is significant in carrying the smaller peptides. So, further, the MHC class I molecule along with the peptide is then transported by the vesicle to cell membrane. What happens? The antigenic peptides are formed, viral antigenic peptides. These peptides are transported along with the MHC class 2 molecule firstly. Then MHC class 1 molecule plus antigenic peptide whole complex is transported to cell membrane by the vesicle. Okay. At the cell membrane vesicle, they get fused with the cell membrane and a complex of antigen and MHC class 1 is presented on the cell surface. Means virus, firstly in fact, virus or viral antigens get cut into peptides. These peptides are transported to endoplasmic reticulum and then loaded with the MHC class 1 molecule. MHC class 1 molecule along with the peptide transported to the vesicle or to the cell membrane. Then they get fused with the MHC class 1 again is presented on the cell surface. The antigen presenting dendritic cell then leave the tissue site and migrate to the lymph node through the lymphatic vesicle. Now what happens? This antigenic presenting dendritic cell, what happens? These leave the tissue. The complex is leaved to the tissue and the dendritic cell transported to the lymphatic vesicle. Now the free antigen entering in lymph node meets the antigen presenting cell in paracortex. We know lymph node structure you have discussed. The whole complex is coming there. Now the free antigen entering in the lymph node, it is going to meet with the antigen presenting cell in paracortical region. Lymph node, we know lymph node structure. Cortex is there, medulla is there. So antigen presenting cell in the paracortical region meet the antigen. And later on they are processed by the similar mechanism with the previous pathway along with MHC class 2 molecule. Again I will repeat. The viral antigens, they are coming in contact with the cell. The cell, antigen presenting cell capture the virus and the virus antigen cuts into smaller peptides. Later on, these peptides are transported to MHC class 1. MHC class 1 along with the antigenic peptide is then transported to the cell membrane. Then they get fused with the surface of the cell. Okay, fused with the cell membrane and presented on the cell surface. Later on, dendritic cell take this antigen or the complex and leave the tissue site, and later on it is migrated toward the lymph node. Lymph node, we know that in lymph node there is a paracortical region and medullary region. The free antigen enters in the lymph node and they are going to meet with the antigen presenting cell in paracortical region. Later on it is going to be processed along with the MHC class 2 molecule. So you remember that class 1 and class 2 molecule both are playing significant role in antibody production here. So once the dendritic cell reach the lymph node, they migrate to the T cell rich area. Which is the T cell rich area? Paracortical region in the lymph node. And they meet with the CD4 T cell there in paracortical region. So once there is a presentation by the class 2 molecule, the whole complex will migrate to T cell rich area and they meet to the CD4 T cell. CD4 means cluster of differentiation T cell or T4 cell or T helper cell. So there is a ultimately interaction of this antigen with the CD4 cell. Okay. Now The next step follows triggering of B cell. T helper cell and B cell get interact. So unless and until there is an interaction of T helper and B cell, there is no production of the antibody or humoral immune response. Triggering means activation. Activation of antigen specific CD4 cell into T helper cell and their proliferation. So there are two types of the antigen. One type is called as T cell dependent antigen. Secondly, T cell independent antigen. Those antigens which are depending upon T cell, they are called as T cell dependent antigen. Those cells which are not dependent, they are called as T cell independent antigen. So which are the T cell dependent antigen? Most of the antigen belong to T cell dependent class. So these antigen do not stimulate the B cell or for the production of the immunoglobulins. So they require the help of T helper cell to activate the cell for production of the antibodies. Okay. So most of the antigens belong to T cell dependent class, and these antigens do not stimulate directly the B cell because they require the help of T helper cell. Once they get the help of the T cell helper cell, then later on they are going to stimulate the B cell. Directly they are not going to stimulate the B cell. Remember. So those antigen which are dependent, they firstly take the help of T helper and later on they are going to stimulate the B cell to produce the antibodies or the immunoglobulins. Whereas the T cell independent antigen, these antigens do not require the help of T helper cell to activate the B cell. They can directly activate the B cell for producing antibody. T cell dependent antigen म्हणजे काय? They are requiring the help of T helper to react with the B cell. T cell independent antigens means they do not require the help of T helper, but they can directly activate the B cell to produce the antibody. For example, they are polysaccharides. So for the activation of T cell, two separate signals are required. T cell, if they are activated, they require two separate signals. The first signal is generated by interaction of T cell receptor with the complex of antigen and MHC class II molecule present on the surface of antigen presenting cell. And the second signal is known as co-stimulatory signal or co-stimulatory molecule, where CD28 present on T cell and B7 means B cell 7 present on the surface of antigen presenting cell. So two signals are there. The first signal is generated by T cell receptor with the complex of antigen and MHC2. Second signal is known as co-stimulatory signal, where there is a role of CD28 cell which is present on T cell and it going to interact with the B cell. You just remember only this. Co-stimulatory signal means CD28 react with the B cell. Then activation of T cell is there. After receiving both the signals, means co-stimulatory signal and first signal, then there is a activation of T cell. So CD4 T cell get activated later on after receiving the two signal, and T cell gets stimulated to express large number of interleukins. So once the T cell get activated after receiving two signals, the T cell produce interleukins, which is a cytokine, and there is a proliferation. So this cell get proliferated or converted into CD4 cell, CD8 cell and B cells. So there is a activation or stimulation of T cell. Now see here, two pathways we have studied, endocytic and cytosolic, exogenous antigen, endogenous antigen. These antigens captured by the cell, there is a loading along with the MHC class I and class II molecule, then on the surface of the cell, and then there is a signal, which are two signals are there activating the T cell. The two signals are going to activate the T cell. So after receiving both the signal, CD4 cell get activated and there is a proliferation of T cell which get converted into CD4, CD8 and B cell. So antigen activated T cell along with the antigen activated CD4 cell actually going to undergo proliferation, so that number of antigen specific CD4 cell number will be increased. CD4 cell means T4 cell. T4 cell means T helper cell, which are going to activate the B cell. So you should you should remember that the number of T4 cell should be increased. Okay, so how it is increased? The T4 cell get activated in previous step and they undergo extensive proliferation. Proliferation means spreading. So they get proliferated into number of T4 cell. So number of T4 cell go on increasing there. And after proliferation, T4 cell undergo processing, then they interact with the B cell later on. So once the T4 cell interact with the B cell means actually antibody secreting cell. You remember that. So once there is interaction of T cell with the B cell, then there is a production of the antibody. Okay. So today we will stop here. In next lecture we will study the next mechanism which is related with the stimulation by the B cell. Thank you.